Welcome to the Waiting Warriors podcast. As loved ones of first responders and military personnel, we often face life situations and challenges that many others don't experience. And while each of us and our experiences are unique, together we can learn from one another and become stronger in this journey of life. Now let's step out of mediocrity. It's time to thrive. Hey, Waiting Warriors out there. Welcome to another week on the podcast. This is Michelle Bowler, your host. If you're watching on YouTube, you are seeing all of my painting project day glory because there was not time to get ready today. As I'm sure all of you know, especially if you have toddlers, like doing a project with kids around is no joke. But Jessica looks beautiful today.
From here up. From here up.
Just look at her. If you're like, Michelle, this is just too much. We got very, very tired eyes. I don't think there's paint anywhere on my face.
No, you're good.
We're good. That would have been great though. Like if we started recording and I was just like, oh, what's
I am a good friend, I would tell you.
I appreciate that. That is a rare friend to find because even my husband will be like, we'll get home from a party or whatever, like some sort of unit function, and I'll have like mascara up, like when it gets on by your eyebrows because you blink too fast, or like, the under the eye.
Have a chat with you about this. This is not okay.
Yeah, he's just a dude, like he just doesn't even see it. I'm like, honey, you are my best friend. This is your responsibility. Like
your role. Do we need to go through this?
Yes. But anyways, that's a long introduction to Jessica Manfre. Welcome to the show, Jessica.
Thank you for having me. Super excited to be here.
So Jessica is a licensed social worker and her husband is active duty Coast Guardsman, which I think you're our first Coast Guard, which brings our first question. There's an active duty Coast Guard?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the Coast Guard was established, I think their birthday was 76, something like that. It's had a lot of different names, but most recently after 9/11, they moved from Department of Transportation to be put under Department of Homeland Security. So you'll find them stationed all over the world, even overseas. You'll find them in Bahrain, Kuwait. They are there supporting efforts because, again, the Coast Guard has this unique ability to not only be, we do rescue, right? They're first responder.
Right.
They are a military branch, but they are also they're law enforcement. So, if the Navy or whoever needs to make an arrest on the sea or whatever, they need a coastie on board to do that because they have the power to do that. So everybody kind of works together.
Okay. So does a Navy ship normally have at least like one Coast Guardsman so then they can
a lot of times they will, yeah. They'll have a lot of them. So we have, I'm probably going to say it wrong. No, it's right. TACLET officers in like certain locations throughout the country. They're not officers, but like they'll have TACLET units. So like they'll have like, I think there's one like in California, down in Miami. So if there's going to be like, maybe there's a big Coast Guard ship that has spotted some drug smugglers or something crazy is going on. They'll fly those TACLET guys in to, so have you seen the video where it was like the Coast Guard guy knocking on the submarine, yelling at him to get out? It was like went viral last year. Those are the guys that you'll see, doing stuff like that.
That get business done.
They do.
So Coast Guardmen are legit.
Yes, they are legit.
It's so maybe it's just because in my mind I just see the hashtag. I see because of what I do. I see the hashtag and it's like coastie wife, and it's like, oh, that's not as manly as they probably
right.
want to be.
Yeah, no, they're definitely like that is a nickname. They're known as coasties. It's just a shorter way to say it. They're very proud of it. I think what makes them unique is because of all the rules that they have to fill, right? And I mean, even here where I'm at now, we're stationed outside of Scott Air Force Base. It's a huge base. It's Transcom, so we've got all the branches here. But like I'll interact with people in the community, and when I tell them that my husband's in the Coast Guard, they're like, the Coast Guard in the Midwest?
Mhm.
And then I have to say, well, look at all the rivers you have.
Oh,
Except for upper Mississippi, where my husband is, they're responsible for like 6 states because of the Illinois, Missouri, like all the rivers. So you've got river tenders that are moving buoys, they're conducting boardings. When things are flooding, they're in there, rescuing people. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And really, I didn't even know how much they did on rivers until we came here. So it's been a great learning experience.
yeah. So real fast, I want us to talk a lot about Giving Tuesday military, but real fast, like how did you guys get into the Coast Guard? Because I don't see like Coast Guard recruiting stations everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally. They are in a lot of places, believe it or not. There's actually one, I have a friend who's a recruiter in Louisville, Kentucky, of all places. We definitely don't have the budget that the DoD has for recruitment, but they are strategically placed. Like there's one here in Illinois.
Mhm.
My husband was actually Army National Guard at first, and that didn't work out. And then when he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do, he ended up enlisting in the Coast Guard, went to boot camp, and he got sent to A school, which is like basically where they learn their MOS, and they get
Okay.
certified for whatever it is that they choose. And he was actually on a plane on 9/11 and landed on 9/11. Just crazy story, because we talk about it. Well, what if you had stayed in the Army? Where would you have been? Because that was
Mhm.
his path. He was ROTC all 4 years of high school. So everything really does happen for a reason. We never would have met, because he got stationed in my hometown of Florida about 4 years. Yeah, 4 years later. So, yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Because like it's like small little things like that happened to Austin and I. He was in the ROTC class at our college. Um and he had been seriously thinking for years about joining the military. But he just kept getting the feeling and the answer, like he we're praying people, like he got the answer no. And then we met in October, which if he had joined when he was like originally talking to a recruiter, he would have left in October for basic. So it's like, oh well,
Meant to be.
yeah, we wouldn't have met. And it's just I love little stories like that. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, somebody
Yeah. No,
together.
meant to be.
Meant to be. Okay, so let's talk about Giving Tuesday military because I think it's one of the coolest things, and we need more people to know about it because I didn't even know about it until I started following Maria, and then Maria's involved in that. And listeners, I'm talking about Maria Reed. She did an episode. I could not tell you what number off the top of my head, but it was back in January of this year, I think. But so tell us, from the beginning, what is Giving Tuesday military and how did that start?
Oh, sure. Happy to. So, um, there's 4 of us that are involved in this at this point. It's Maria Reed, Stacy Billadew, Samantha Gamolka, and myself. And really how it started is all 4 of us were named Military Spouse of the Year for our respective branches. For 3 of us, it was 2019, and for Stacy, it was 2018. And after the awards dinner was over, Maria and I sat down, and she's like, I've never had a Coast Guard family on Moving with the Military. I want to work with you, and I really want to bring a makeover to a Coast Guard family. And she was going to be in Florida for the whole summer. I knew people down there. My family was down there. So it was just a great setup. We ended up finding a family, and the mother was going through terminal cancer. The house was kind of not kept up. The dad was doing the best he could. He
Right.
was an active duty AET, which is the guys that are on the helicopters that are flying. Like he had a pretty intense job and 2 littles. And so we came in and we had like 50 volunteers every day, active duty Coast Guardsmen, people from the community. It was insane. It was the biggest makeover she had done to date. And I was so proud of the way people who didn't even know this family showed
Mhm.
up. And so I had been following Giving Tuesday for a while because they've been around, I think, for 7 years at that point. And for those of you that don't know, it was started because we've got our Thanksgiving, right? And then we have Black Friday, and then it's Small Business
Right.
Sat. Basically, we go from being thankful to materialistic everything. We're shopping, we're
Right.
shopping, we're shopping. And so these people were sitting around, the leaders now of Giving Tuesday, and they were like, Tuesday's Giving Tuesday. We're just making it a thing. Well, that
Mhm.
thing 8 years later, last year, I think they raised $500 million for nonprofits. It's
Wow.
extraordinary. They started with a small number of campaigns in the US, and now they have over 200 and they're worldwide. So at any rate, I shared that makeover in a Facebook message to Giving Tuesday, and I didn't think they were going to respond. I'm like, they've got better things, but
Mhm.
they did. And the woman who responded was Kathleen, and she was actually their communications director. And she said, "This was incredible. Have you ever thought about running a campaign?" And I was like, "Campaign? Me? Like, sure." Long story short, we had a meeting with, her, and we sat around, and we didn't want it to be about money, right? We're very, very well aware that with the military, especially our junior enlisted, there's not a lot of money to go around. And we didn't
Mhm.
want to, and plus, that wasn't our jam. We wanted to really change the landscape and promote intentional kindness. And so we came up with a campaign of Giving Tuesday Military. It was short and sweet. And the goal would be every year we would try for 1 million acts of kindness. And for us, we felt like this was totally doable. Our community is all over the world.
Yeah.
Like, how could we not? And so we set it up to where anybody could raise their hand and say, I want to be an ambassador for my community. I'm going to lead base X or
Mhm.
town, whatever. And this is what we're going to do. And we just empowered them to take it and run. The only thing that we asked is that they not, raise funds, if you will, make it about the thing and the time and the doing.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty bananas last year. We ended up with 2.5 million acts of kindness. It was
So cool.
awesome, like so awesome. And so when we were going into this year, obviously COVID happened,
Mhm.
changing things. But we felt like this year more than ever, like this, we need it, right? We
Yeah.
need kindness. We need to come together. We just had to get a little bit creative on how we were going to do it.
Yeah. So what is, like, very basic, the mission, the motto of Giving Tuesday Military?
I go back to this all the time. Samantha said one day last year while we were doing this, she was like, I want to create the world that our children already believe exists. And it was
Mhm.
like a light bulb went off because it's true, right? The innocence of a
Yeah.
child, how good they think everything is, and then as you slowly break it down to them as they get older, watching that innocence fade is just, it's heartbreaking. And so that's our mission, really. And to also let people know that this is the one thing that your differences don't matter in, right? If you are deep in the muck of gutting out a park and cleaning it up, who cares, what their beliefs are on the left or right of you or what they look like? You're all in it together, and we are all in it together. And so for us, I think that's really the mission, creating a world that our children already believe exists and forgetting those differences and coming together for the common good. So yeah, that would be it in a nutshell.
Yeah. So what do you say though, because like a lot of the listeners are military spouses, are first responder spouses, and their husbands are, one, probably working, if not like not even home at all.
Deployed, yeah.
Yeah, deployed, or just on different, missions or whatever. But like how, so these are loved ones that are overwhelmed and have a whole list of things to do. Like, what do you say to somebody who's like, that sounds amazing and awesome, but how, what could I possibly do? Like, I can't run an event,
Mhm.
my life
Yeah,
isn't.
so you can actually just be a participant as well. You don't have to, be an ambassador and run a group. You can simply say, okay, on Giving Tuesday, I'm committing to this. And
Mhm.
that thing doesn't have to be a big project, right? Some of the small things that we did last year were so impactful, like taking sticky notes and going around cars and leaving encouraging notes. Can you
Mhm.
imagine? Like, you don't know what that person's going through. You don't even know who they are. But when they
Yeah.
read that card, like, what a feeling, you know what I mean? And so things like that, getting your kids involved. This is a fun thing for the whole family. We've launched like a whole youth, for the kids that are like preteen and older to kind of work
Mhm.
together, and they're doing incredible things. They're making TikToks to get more kids involved. They're
Oh,
running the
cool.
TikTok, by the way, not us. That is not like, I'm too old for that. But like last year, my son, I bought like beads, and he made Be Kind bracelets for his class. It was a fun
Mhm.
activity. And there you go. That's 30 acts of kindness right there, you know?
Yeah.
Um, it shouldn't feel like a burden. So whatever it is that you choose to do, that is good enough. You are good enough.
Mhm.
Anything that you can do to impact someone else's day or life, like that matters.
Yeah. So how do people like how do you possibly count all of this? Like you say
The
you got two
hashtag.
the hashtag,
Yeah,
that's it?
it's hard. Now I will say this. Obviously, little kids aren't on social media. So like here in the St. Louis area, we had 6 schools involved last year that made cards for the veterans home. So it was simple enough to go, okay, I knew how many students were in each school, I knew how many cards we got, and I just had a little bit of a spreadsheet that made it simple. So for things like
Mhm.
that, but if people simply use the hashtag Giving Tuesday Military, we have a program now, because now we're a nonprofit, you know, that Giving Tuesday falls under as an initiative. We can track all that. So they can post whatever they want and share what they're doing. And as long as they use the hashtag Giving Tuesday Military, we'll be able to count it.
Oh, I was thinking it would be I mean, not that it would be, like, way complicated, but it would be, like, go to this website, not,
Mm-mm.
like, register, but just, like, log in or whatever, but everybody
Oh,
use a hashtag. That's
no. Yeah, last year, because we have a Facebook group and it's pretty popular. I think we have like 4,000 members right now. And so basically the whole thing is just flooded with kindness on that day. Like everybody's sharing their stuff right there in that group. We can count it that way, you know,
yeah.
for people who maybe don't want to publicize what they're doing. We had some people say, I didn't really want to use social media for what I did, but here's what I did. So
Mhm.
there's no wrong answer. The
Yeah,
easiest way is the hashtag, but we completely understand, you know, and the whole point is to keep spreading that kindness, however you want to do it.
yeah. And then what would be, like, 5 or 10 just, like, not pressure, but just however many ideas come in your head, like, of ideas that people could do because what we're it's
That's
mid-November, this
17 days, I think. I think I have 17 days.
yeah, and this will be published before, so even if you're hopefully people have time to hear it, but, like, if they only have a week, what are, like, 5 ideas that they could do?
I'm going to give you some really easy things. So this year we partnered with Christina Etchberger. She runs the Veterans Pen Pal project that she started back in March with COVID, with all the VA homes and
Mhm,
retirement homes. Um, she has become basically an advocate for Veterans Last Patrol, which is a nonprofit that's dedicated to veterans in hospice. And I think this is their second year, they do Operation Holiday Salute, where they send Christmas cards to veterans in hospice. You want
mhm,
something simple? Sit down and your whole family, everybody take a Christmas card you can get at the Dollar Tree and
yeah,
mail it to the nonprofit in South Carolina, because then what they're going to do is they're going to distribute them throughout the country. And their goal is 10,000. And I'm hoping with us, you know, constantly talking about it, that people will do it because that's easy, right?
yeah,
That's an easy thing. Let's see. Some of the other things that we're doing, give blood. Go find somewhere to give blood. That is like one of the biggest pieces, you know, or acts rather of kindness that you can give. We have a couple projects that we're really championing. I mean, think about your foster kids, right? That are in your community. Most of them, their clothes are in trash bags. Most of them, if you're in a colder climate, are seeking warm pajamas. You know, get together with your neighborhood and say, hey, is everybody in to purchase 1 pack of warm PJs? Collect them
yeah,
and, you know, distribute them, you know, and it's the same thing for any homeless shelters that you may have in your area. We have one specifically for veterans not far from where I live.
mhm,
So I called them up. I said, hey, what do you need? You know, tell me what you're looking for. And then you just get businesses involved, you get your neighborhoods involved. And then it's not just you, right? You don't have that burden of, oh, you know, but the thing is, you starting that conversation, you're inspiring others to do, right? And it just keeps going with this ripple effect.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so those, I love leaving random notes. I think that's so much fun. Another one that's popular is like the pay it forward coffee. Like who doesn't
mhm,
like to get up to pay and then realize the person in front of them? I mean, it just sets the tone for your entire day, right? You
yeah,
know, so the little things matter. They really do, and it's something that anybody can take part in.
that's awesome. And now I'm like, "Hmm, what should we do?
You can do anything, yeah.
Maybe we'll have to organize a little something, Fort Campbell. If you're in Fort Campbell, reach out on Instagram and or yeah, I think we're gonna do something in Fort Campbell Day.
Anything you want to do. I mean, we've got bases that are doing cookies, for the guys that are in the barracks. They're surprising the gate guards with other kinds of treats. There's really no wrong answer. Like the
Yeah.
whole goal is to just be kind.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Like the gate guards, we all drive by them.
Oh yeah, and I mean their job is not awesome. Like let's be
Yeah.
real.
Especially now that it's getting colder. I'm just like,
Yeah, give them
it's
some
really
love.
windy out here, guys. Like,
Yeah.
you're just chilling, and then they have that little fan right there, and it's like you can see them kind of like walking towards it every time, and then walking back to the cars. Like, oh, you're frozen,
Yeah.
aren't you? Oh man. Okay, what else do we need to know? I don't even. Is there anything else?
I can't really think of anything else. It's a really special time of year. It's our favorite time of year. We love working with Giving Tuesday. We love what they're able to do, for communities all over the world. We love highlighting what other organizations are doing. We've done that a lot this year in our group, bringing in chapter ambassadors or nonprofit leaders to share what they're doing to help and, inspire and give people ideas for what they can do themselves. But I think just find that thing that gets you excited. With me being in the mental health field, I read a lot of studies on the benefits of giving. And yes, you are absolutely doing something kind and awesome for that other person, but like our bodies, our brains thrive, believe it or not, on kindness. And so when we do something, do for another person, like those happy hormones like just flood us. And no, it doesn't fix everything that's going wrong. It doesn't, stop Murphy's law from destroying you during deployment. Like it's, those things are going to come, but like for that moment, that day, it's a really good day.
Yeah. And maybe like, because I always think when I hear about stuff like this, it's like sometimes it's like another thing to do, especially
Mhm.
when your spouse is gone. But like,
Mhm.
I feel like this could be something that gives you a light day. You know what I mean? Like, not that everything's all going to be hunky and dory, but like it can give yourself this moment of happiness and of that energy that you're talking about. Like, give yourself that gift, and while you're giving gifts to other people.
Agreed.
It's awesome. So if people want to like look more into Giving Tuesday Military, social media, all that kind of stuff, where can they find all of that?
So we have Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all under Giving Tuesday Military. Facebook, what our ambassadors have done is they've turned around and formed their own groups in their areas. Like here, we have Giving Tuesday Military Scott Air Force Base. But if
Okay.
you're wanting to find the main group, it's just Giving Tuesday Military. They can also go to our website,
Mhm.
givingtuesdaymilitary.com, and that one will give them the backstory. We have printables on there. We have, what else is in there? Ideas. We've got kindness to each other, the community, the world, and then we even have one kindness during COVID. Some
Mhm.
really simple ideas of how to be safe, but also give back.
Yeah, that's awesome. And another question, if how would they find out if there is like an ambassador and kind of a more of a group project in somebody's area? How do they find that out?
The best way to do that really is to come into our main Facebook group. Just say, hey, hi, I'm new. I'm in this area. Is anybody? It's super active right now. Come the
Okay.
end of October and November, that's when people are in, they're talking. I also, for the most part, know where most of the groups are because earlier we were blessed by Armed Forces Financial Network. They gave to our nonprofit, and we were able to create they're basically just fun boxes filled with stuff to inspire our ambassadors. And so I have a list of all those groups, plus the groups that are already in Facebook, so we have a pretty good idea. But there are people who are just sprouting up out of nowhere, but we'll help connect you in there.
Cool. And that Facebook group is just like Giving
Giving
Tuesday.
Tuesday all together, no spaces, just Giving Tuesday Military.
Cool. Well, guys, let's go check it out. I'm all excited, and I I know they're just kids, but for me, like I grew up in a home that's like the holidays are about giving, and it's magical because of the spirit of the holidays. Like, yes, the gifts are really fun, like
Mhm.
really, really fun. But I was blessed to be in a family that like did things for other people, and that just made it all the more magical. And so for some reason, like the fact that my 7-year-old is like, oh, but I might not get the toy that I want, I'm like, no, you need to focus on other people. So I'm like, don't worry, I'm not gonna like harp on my kids. It will be fun. They will get presents. But I love that this is something that I could get even my 7, 6, and 4-year-old involved in.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like,
hands down. Like my son, he's 9.5, and last year, obviously it's different this year, but last year he wanted to give out hot cocoa to his class or his school, I should say.
cute.
So we set up a station, we got permission from the school, and we handed out hot cocoa all morning, and it was a freaking hit, but it felt so good for him to be able to do that for those kids.
Yeah,
They get into it. And tell them
yeah,
to get creative. How can you be kind? How can you make someone's day better? And they'll surprise you.
yeah. I get it. It gives me all the feels because it's like one, just being kind is awesome, but also like seeing your kids get creative and get excited about like something so good, especially right now. Like it has, it is so hard for our kids. Like I don't know what it is like with older kids, but like my kids don't really understand what's going on. Like
Mhm.
they just know that they can't do a million things that they're used to doing. And so I love that there's something that we can do, they can get excited about and just have fun with for this holiday season.
Oh, hands down, and think about it, one of the easiest things that they can do is build a little special bag for your postmaster,
Yeah.
and putting it by the mailbox for them, and having the kids just watching the window when your mail guy or girl is coming by, like, because I know my kids love it when the mail comes or we get deliveries, and it's Amazon season, let's not lie. So, just something, and it doesn't even have to be anything big, but it's really, really special to see them get excited.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. You're giving me all the feels. Thank
Good.
you so much for coming. If somebody wants to connect with you, is that something that they can do? What's the best way they should do that?
Absolutely. I have a public account for Instagram and Twitter, and then on Facebook, they can follow my page. It's Jessica Manfre, LMSW, and I put my whole life out there. There's no secret. So, yeah, I'm happy to connect with people, help them, and hopefully inspire them on doing more stuff for their community.
Love it. And we'll put all those links, Giving Tuesday, everything. We'll put all those links in the show notes. So if you just want a fast lick, a fast click, don't
Gotcha.
be looking your phone. Click
Please
your
don't. Don't do that. It's COVID season.
yeah. We don't do that. Thank you, Jessica, so much for coming on. Oh, my favorite question.
What?
Last question. What is your key to thriving that you want to share with your fellow waiting warriors?
Um, so it's not going to come as any surprise, and I'm not trying to be cliche when I say this, but for me, it really is leading a purpose-filled life. I I'm a seasoned spouse at this point. My husband and I have been together 16 years, 9 moves. Like I've done it, and I am my happiest when I am doing what I love. And for me that is giving back. For me that is practicing social work. So that is my tip for thriving: find what you love and find a way to make it a reality. And it might look different, right? our
Mhm.
our lives and our journeys are not the same as our civilian peers, and that's okay. It's
Mhm.
just the point that you get there. It doesn't matter how long you get there or how long it takes you to get there, but just, yeah, find your purpose.
Yeah, love it. Okay, guys, let's go like attack Giving Tuesday. Let's just
Dare you.
yeah, let's go all waiting warrior on it and just attack this thing. I'm really excited. I'm really pumped. Again, if you are in Fort Campbell, make sure you're checking out Instagram. It's just at the waiting warrior. I think I'm gonna hop on the ambassador and figure
Train,
out.
you should.
Yeah, and
You should. Where is Fort Campbell? I'm trying to picture. Is it Kentucky?
yeah, it's like so half of the base is Kentucky, half of the base is Tennessee.
Are
So
you by Murray, Kentucky?
close-ish. Yeah, that's like
Okay.
I've seen that one pop up. Yeah,
One
so
of our leaders is there, Stacy
yeah,
Bilodeau.
yeah, yeah. She's
So yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah.
So she's there.
Okay, Fort Campbell people, we're gonna do something.
Do it big.
And everybody else, I want to see something and make sure. I know I'm gonna be checking out the hashtag. Um, just share away, give away, love away, and guys, remember, just because it's hard doesn't mean it has to be miserable. And this is a way that you make that happen. I am totally like can testify to that. Thanks again, Jessica.
Thank you for having me. I don't know why I'm waving. It's like a thing we do now with Zoom. It's like
Bye, guys. Hey Waiting Warriors, if you are heading towards or in the middle of a deployment, or shoot, you're just a military spouse trying to do their best, I want to give you something I've created with you in mind. I've created a free download called 3 Ways to Set Up Your Marriage for a Successful Deployment. I know deployments can be tough, but I am a firm believer that they don't have to ruin your relationship, and I would really love to share with you what I've learned and now have done over and over again in my own marriage. So go to subscribepage.com/3 ways to set up your marriage for a successful deployment, all one word there at the end, or check out the show notes for a link. Or right now you can go to my website, thewaitingwarriors.com, and there's a pretty little yellow button on top waiting for you.